Hello, welcome to Math 230. My name is Chris Robinson. I'll be your professor for this semester, Calculus 1. I want to take a little bit of time to bring you up to speed on the different resources we have on Blackboard. I'll post a lot of things, uh, supplemental notes, homework, all sorts of items on here through the semester. And there gets to be so many, I think it might be worthwhile that we take a look at. I also like to bring to your attention this tool that I'm using now that it's called Zoom, and it's a way for us to have a virtual office hour, a virtual meeting. Um, Perhaps the weather gets bad through the semester, or you're unable to reach me during normal office hours in person. This might be a way for us to talk about a problem or discuss something without having to be in the same location. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to take and share my screen here so that we can take a look at some of the items we have on Blackboard for our course. So let me minimize a few things here. When you come into the course, I'm going to set Blackboard to take you into the course overview video. It's not here right now because I'm creating it. It'll look a little bit different when you get there. So that being said, underneath the course overview, you have a item for the course syllabus and the course calendar. Now, thinking back to my experience, the first day of any university opening, first day of high school, first semester or whatever, you get kind of tired listening to all the different ways classes are set up and they just kind of blend together. So I'm not going to go through all those details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save them in something called a VoiceThread. It's right here in the middle. You got your course syllabus. You can actually look at the document, or you can listen to an abbreviated version of the highlights from it. You got two choices. You can actually click on the VoiceThread. Now here's the thing. Sometimes that doesn't open up. If you go into your MyUSI account and you, excuse me, open up VoiceThread, a lot of times that will allow the video in the middle to show a little bit easier. Let's see if I can get back to everything I need now. Sometimes we have too many windows going here. So let's see. Yep, I got too many windows going at one time. So let me circle back around. Just in case you hadn't seen this before, when you first come in, you've got your Calculus 1 page, syllabus. So what I was trying to allude to is that this middle video looks like you can play it. Sometimes you got to have VoiceThread running in the background for it to work effectively. But if that's not what you want to do, we also have a link right underneath it. You can click on that, and that takes you to the VoiceThread as well. You got choices here. Both of them get to the same VoiceThread. It's your option of how to get there. And don't forget as well, I've said this once before, that you can see the whole document for the syllabus and look it over at your convenience. The course calendar, I've also got that available as well. You know, you've got to keep in mind that it's subject to change depending on weather, or maybe one day we take a little bit longer on a lesson or a little bit shorter on a lesson than I expect. But what I've got here is an idea of when all the test dates, quiz dates, homework, all that, what that folds into as the class proceeds. So this is another one that would be very good to look at before you come to class on Monday. It's not my intention to discuss these in class. I want to get just to the prerequisites that we need, and let's bring that up now. If you look down here at units, this is a description of the learning resources that we will use as we go through each chapter pretty much. When you look at chapter 1 and chapter 2 though in the textbook, you've got a bit of prerequisites and then limits, and I like to put those together for our first exam. So if I click on limits, and I'll set the start for Blackboard to be to this folder soon enough, but that'll probably be maybe Wednesday or so next week. You can go through and you can look at the resources I have for each lesson. So if I look at the prerequisite materials, I've got a whole lot of different things that we can use to help us along the way whenever it comes to, say, looking at absolute value, looking at domain, looking at average rate of change. I've got supplemental homework problems that you can look at. I've got some cases would be different folders, sketches, dynamic sketches to see how an idea can be understood. But a lot of times, sure, you can write these all out by hand on your paper as you're working in class, but these are exactly what I'm going to be using. You could just print them off ahead of time and fill in the details, the extra details that you need. And suppose perhaps you're wondering if you wrote something down correctly, I'll post my completed copy as well. Just lots of resources, lots of options for you to get the most out of this class that you possibly can. Let's go back to the other things. We have section 2.1. We'll get into that towards the end of the first week. But as you go forward, you've got all sorts of tools to help you keep up with the lessons and keep everything organized. I don't want this to be overwhelming, but I find that it's a great way to give you all the resources that we'll have for the particular unit. We also got something down here called keys, and as we go through this semester, we'll typically take quizzes on Fridays, or if we don't have a quiz that week, we have an exam. I post the keys to those, also post the original one, so if a quiz has two different forms, you worked one form, you got the other form you can try out for practice, or you can go and look and see what was expected for full credit, or you can check your answers on a form of the quiz you haven't tried. Exams, I do the same thing. You've got a key to check your work afterward. There's nothing up there right now, but as we go through the semester, that will build, and there'll be more and more resources to help you succeed. The tools, I've never really went very far in developing those. They're there if you should like them, but I don't post grades on Blackboard. I have other ways of getting your grades to you, and I'll discuss that as we go through. Sometimes I find it can be a bit overwhelming to have all the details at once, but you'll know what your grades are probably in a quicker manner than you ever have, either in high school or in college. But that being said, I want to say once again, welcome to the class. I do plan on the first day to ask you some questions about where you're from. It helps me learn your names quickly. So it's not that I'm just going to get straight into a lecture. I'm going to take maybe 5-10 minutes or so to get an idea what helps me remember your names, and then we'll get into the lesson for the day. The syllabus, the course calendar, those are for you to look over as hopefully over this weekend, but if not, as time presents itself. So thanks for your attention, and I hope to see you soon.